Planting bok choy or Chinese cabbage in pots is an excellent alternative for gardeners with limited space or those who prefer container gardening. Growing bok choy or Chinese cabbage in pots allows for better control over soil quality, water management, and pest control, making it a convenient option for urban gardeners or individuals with small balconies. To begin, selecting the right container is crucial. Pechay plants do not require deep soil, so any pot with a depth of at least 6 inches and a width of 8 to 10 inches will suffice. Ensure that the container has sufficient drainage holes to prevent waterlogging, which can lead to root rot. If using recycled containers, such as plastic buckets or wooden boxes, drill additional holes at the bottom for improved drainage. Ceramic pots are also viable choices, but they tend to dry out more quickly than plastic or fabric pots, so frequent watering may be required. Next, choosing the right soil mix is essential for the successful growth of bok choy or Chinese cabbage in pots. A well-draining potting mix composed of garden soil, compost, coconut coir, and perlite or sand helps ensure proper aeration and moisture retention. Adding organic matter, such as aged manure or vermicast, further enhances the soil's nutrient content. Before filling the pots with soil, placing a thin layer of small stones or broken clay pots at the bottom can improve drainage and prevent soil compaction. Once the soil is prepared, fill the container, leaving about an inch of space from the rim to allow room for watering without spillage. After preparing the containers, sowing the seeds correctly is vital to ensure proper germination and growth. Bok choy or Chinese cabbage seeds can be directly sown into the container by scattering them evenly or placing them in shallow holes about ½ an inch deep. A spacing of 2 to 3 inches between seeds is recommended to prevent overcrowding. After sowing, cover the seeds lightly with a thin layer of soil and water gently using a watering can or mist sprayer. Avoid heavy watering at this stage, as excessive moisture can displace the seeds or cause fungal growth. Germination usually occurs within 3 to 5 days, depending on the temperature and moisture levels. Transferring seedlings of pak choy or Chinese cabbage into a pot requires careful timing and attention to detail to ensure the plants thrive in their new container environment. The best time to transfer seedlings is when they are 3 to 4 weeks old, or once they have developed 2 to 3 sets of true leaves, indicating that the plant is strong enough to handle the transition from their initial growing space, such as a seed tray, to a larger container. It's important to ensure that the outdoor temperature is cool, as these plants are cold-hardy but don't tolerate frost well. Before transplanting, make sure you have prepared a suitable pot. A good-sized pot for these crops should be at least 12 inches in diameter and deep enough to accommodate the plant's roots, usually around 8 to 12 inches deep. The container should also have proper drainage holes to prevent water from accumulating at the bottom, which can cause root rot. For optimal growth, fill the pot with a well-draining, nutrient-rich potting mix that includes compost or organic matter to enrich the soil. Pak choy and Chinese cabbage prefer slightly acidic to neutral soil, with a pH between 6.0 and 7.5. Once the soil is ready, thoroughly water the seedlings in their original container, such as a seed tray, a few hours before transplanting to reduce the chances of transplant shock. Carefully remove the seedlings, gently loosening the soil around the roots, and try to avoid damaging them by handling the plants by their leaves rather than the delicate stems or roots. If the seedlings are crowded or have long, tangled roots, gently separate them before placing them in the new pot. Create a hole in the center of the pot soil large enough to accommodate the root ball of each seedling. Then place the seedling into the hole, ensuring that the top of the root ball is level with or slightly below the surface of the soil. Lightly press the soil around the roots to eliminate air pockets, ensuring good soil contact with the roots, and water the plants thoroughly after transplanting to help settle the soil. In general, space the seedlings at least 6 to 8 inches apart to give them enough room to grow and spread out. But if growing smaller varieties of pak choy or Chinese cabbage, you can place them a bit closer together. After transplanting, the pot should be placed in a location that receives partial to full sunlight for at least 4 to 6 hours a day. While these plants prefer cooler temperatures, they also need adequate sunlight to grow well. So make sure the pot is positioned in a spot that provides light without exposing the seedlings to excessive heat, which could stress the plants. For indoor planting, placing the pot near a sunny window or undergrow lights can work well. Regular watering is essential for these crops, as they prefer consistently moist but not waterlogged soil. Water the pot thoroughly when the top inch of soil feels dry to the touch, ensuring that excess water drains out of the bottom of the pot. Be careful not to let the soil dry out completely, as this can stunt the growth of the seedlings. As the seedlings grow, thinning may be required to ensure that each plant has sufficient space to develop properly. When the seedlings reach about 2 inches in height, remove the weaker ones, leaving only the healthiest plants spaced 4 to 6 inches apart. If you have limited containers and want to maximize your yield, the removed seedlings can be transplanted into separate pots or grown hydroponically. Watering is a critical aspect of growing pak choi in pots. The soil should remain consistently moist, but not waterlogged. Checking the moisture level daily and watering when the top inch of soil feels dry helps maintain optimal hydration. During hot or dry weather, potted plants may require more frequent watering, especially if placed in direct sunlight. However, overwatering should be avoided, as it can lead to root rot and fungal diseases. Fertilizing pak choi in containers ensures continuous growth and a high yield. Since nutrients in pots can deplete more quickly than in garden beds, regular fertilization is necessary. Applying organic fertilizers such as compost tea, diluted fish emulsion, or liquid seaweed extract every 2 weeks helps sustain plant health. For those using commercial fertilizers, a balanced 14-14-14 formula can be applied at half the recommended strength to prevent overfertilization. Additionally, incorporating slow-release organic fertilizers into the soil before planting provides a steady nutrient supply for the plants. Pest and disease management in potted pak choi and Chinese cabbage is relatively easy due to better control over the growing environment. However, common pests such as aphids, caterpillars, and flea beetles can still pose a threat. Regularly inspecting the leaves for signs of infestation and manually removing pests can help keep populations in check. Applying neem oil, vinegar spray, or insecticidal soap as a preventive measure can also deter harmful insects. Ensuring adequate airflow around the pots and avoiding overhead watering helps reduce the risk of fungal infections such as downy mildew and damping off disease. As the plants mature, they will benefit from occasional feeding with a balanced liquid fertilizer to ensure they have enough nutrients for healthy growth. Every 2 to 3 weeks, apply a diluted fertilizer to support leaf development. It's also important to regularly check for pests such as aphids, caterpillars, and slugs, as they are common on leafy greens. Keep the container free from weeds, and consider using a mulch layer to help retain moisture and regulate soil temperature. Finally, as the plants grow, be sure to monitor the temperature, especially in the warmer months, as both pak choi and Chinese cabbage can bolt or go to seed if exposed to excessive heat. If temperatures rise, try to move the container to a cooler, shaded spot, or consider using shade cloth to protect the plants from the intense sun. Harvesting can typically begin 6 to 8 weeks after transplanting, depending on the variety and growing conditions. By ensuring proper care during the transplanting process and paying attention to their light, moisture, and nutrient needs, your pak choi or Chinese cabbage plants should grow robustly and produce delicious, tender leaves suitable for harvesting in just a few short weeks. Harvesting pak choi from pots is straightforward and rewarding. Depending on growing conditions, pak choi can be harvested within 30 to 45 days after sowing. The entire plant can be cut at the base using a sharp knife, or individual outer leaves can be picked, while allowing the inner leaves to continue growing for an extended harvest period. Harvesting in the morning helps preserve the crispness and flavor of the leaves. To maintain a continuous supply of fresh pak choi, successive planting every 2 weeks ensures a steady harvest throughout the growing season. After harvesting, pechay can be stored in a refrigerator for several days to retain its freshness. Rinsing and drying the leaves thoroughly before storage helps prevent premature wilting. Pak choi is best consumed fresh, but surplus harvests can be blanched and frozen for longer storage. Its versatility in culinary applications makes it an excellent ingredient for stir-fries, soups, and salads, providing essential vitamins and minerals such as vitamins A, C, K, and calcium. By following these steps, anyone can successfully cultivate pak choi in pots, making it an accessible and convenient option for urban gardening, balconies, and small spaces. With proper care, attention, and maintenance, growing pak choi in containers offers a continuous supply of fresh, homegrown greens while maximizing limited space. Whether you are a beginner or an experienced gardener, container gardening with pak choi is an enjoyable and productive way to contribute to a healthier lifestyle and a more sustainable food source.